Welcome to the Improving Performance of Students with Disabilities web module series, Module 1, California's Accountability System. This series of web modules was developed by the SELPA System Improvement Leads. The purpose of the SELPA System Improvement Lead project is to work collaboratively within the statewide system of support to build the capacity of special education local plan areas, or SELPAs, and local educational agencies, or LEAs, within a common goal to improve outcomes for students with disabilities. The Improving Performance of Students with Disabilities Handbook was created in partnership by the El Dorado County Office of Education and Sacramento County Office of Education for publication by the California County Superintendent's Educational Services Association, known as CSESA. The handbook provides resources and guidance for leadership teams supporting school staff to understand the California School Dashboard and use the data presented in the dashboard to make adjustments to programs and services for students with disabilities within an improvement process. The Improving Performance of Students with Disabilities Handbook is divided into 4 sections. Section 1, California's Accountability System. Section 2, Supports for Students with Disabilities. Section 3 is Improvement, and Section 4 is Toolkit. A downloadable copy of the handbook is attached to this module for reference. The guidance in the Improving Performance of Students with Disabilities Handbook was based on 6 guiding principles taken from known effective program elements necessary for students with disabilities and a recent 2015 statewide task force report on special education entitled One System: Reforming Education to Serve All Students. The task force report can be found on the San Mateo County Office of Education website at www.smcoe.org. The 6 guiding principles are: 1. General education and special education work together seamlessly as one coherent system. 2. Educational programs are organized within the context of a multi-tiered systems of support, or MTSS framework, to ensure academic and behavioral supports are provided for all students. 3. Instructional programs incorporate high quality, standards aligned, evidence-based practices, and use of principles of Universal Design for Learning, or UDL. 4. Data systems are integrated to combine relevant information from state and local assessments, including formative and summative data, universal screening measures, and anecdotal observations from parents and teachers. 5. Site-based teams monitor progress, identify interventions, and adapt instructional practices and behavior supports to promote success for all students using evidence-based systems of inquiry. And 6. Programs are culturally and linguistically responsive. The ideas from these principles formed the foundation of the handbook, which will be further explored through this web module series. 4 separate web modules have been created to assist schools in gaining a deeper understanding of the contents within the Improving Performance of Students with Disabilities Handbook. The 4 web modules are: Module 1, California's Accountability System; Module 2, Support for Students with Disabilities; Module 3, Improvement Process Part 1, Prepare; and Module 4, Improvement Process Part 2, Launch, Reflect, and Adjust. Let's take a closer look at Web Module 1, California's Accountability System. Web Module 1 provides an overview of California's accountability system, specifically the California School Dashboard, and participation of students with disabilities in California's assessment system. The following topics are included in this module: an overview of California's school dashboard, review of the state and local indicators of school success, getting to know the report of the dashboard, statewide assessment accessibility supports, participation of students with disabilities in California's assessment system, and disaggregated data, a closer look at students with disabilities. Please note that the contents of Web Module 1, Understanding California's Accountability System, corresponds with Section 1 of the Improving Performance of Students with Disabilities Handbook. California uses a single coherent accountability system that meets requirements of both federal and state law. This system includes multiple measures of success. The accountability system is tied to the 2013 Local Control Funding Formula and is focused on three key factors: transparency, equity, and supporting local continuous improvement efforts. As the single coherent system, California's accountability system provides information about school districts, county offices of education, all schools, including charter schools, and student groups such as ethnic and racial groups, English learners, low income, students with disabilities, homeless, and foster youth. It is important to note that while the focus of this module is targeted on improving performance of students with disabilities group, the information and the process you'll go through to learn more about the performance of your students with disabilities can be applied to any student group. California's accountability system is intended to promote equity for all students and highlight disparities among student groups so that schools can plan and implement instructional programs that improve academic performance and address identified gaps in learning for all students. The graphic on this page is intended to show the network of state-funded support providers under this system of support. At the heart of California's new accountability system is a focus on continuous improvement for all student groups. One of the key components to California's accountability system is the California School Dashboard. Launched in the spring of 2017, the dashboard is the mechanism by which performance of school districts, schools, and student groups are measured. The California School Dashboard displays results for schools, districts, and charter schools on a variety of indicators and provides ratings for overall student results as well as for groups of students, including students with disabilities. The dashboard consists of a series of reports that displays information on multiple measures called indicators. Within the dashboard, there are a total of 11 indicators of performance. 6 of the 11 indicators of performance are considered state indicators. State indicators are measured by data collected and reported by the California Department of Education or CDE. The remaining 5 of the 11 indicators of performance are considered local indicators. Local indicators are collected and reported locally by the local education agency. Let's take a closer look at state indicators. The 6 state indicators include a range of reports compiled by the CDE detailing different aspects of school performance. The 6 state indicators are common for all local education agencies. The 6 state indicators are chronic absenteeism, suspension rate, English learner progress, high school graduation rate, college and career readiness, and academic performance in English and language arts, as well as mathematics, as measured through the statewide assessment of the California Assessment of Student Progress and Performance, or CASP. There are 5 local indicators based on information collected by school districts, schools, and county offices of education. The 5 local indicators include basic conditions such as teacher qualifications, safe and clean buildings, and textbooks for all students, implementation of academic standards, school climate surveys highlighting safety and connection to school, parent engagement, and access to a broad course of study. State and local indicators are displayed on the dashboard in two different methods. State indicators are displayed on the dashboard through the use of a 5 color-coded performance level. Performance on local indicators do not include the use of the 5 color-coded rating scale. Instead, performance is displayed as met, and not met for 2 years. The next 3 slides will detail state indicator performance levels further. Each LEA, school, or student group receives one of 5 color-coded performance levels for each state indicator. The performance levels are blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. The green and blue performance level indicates the LEA, school, or student group is meeting the state expectations. Yellow, orange, and red performance levels show that LEAs, schools, or student groups need improvement to meet state expectations. The overall performance level is a combination of the school district, school, or student group's current performance or status compared to the past performance or change. There are 5 levels of status and 5 levels of change presented in a 5 by 5 reference chart. The intersection of status and change results in the overall performance level. The figure located on this slide displays an example of a colored 5 by 5 table for the state indicator of high school graduation rate. Both status and change are divided into 5 categories. Graduation rate status is shown on the vertical axis, and graduation rate change is shown on the horizontal axis. Dashboard reports are produced at the local education agency level and the school level. Reports also include specific student groups. To access the dashboard, log on to www.cashooldashboard.org. The dashboard landing page is the first viewable image. The dashboard landing page allows users to type in the name of a school or district into the search bar to find the dashboard report. There is an additional introduction video available on the landing page as well. The About tab at the top of the screen includes links to additional resources such as Dashboard FAQ, info on accountability, and additional resources such as the Communications Toolkit. The Communications Toolkit now links to CDE's accountability page with many dashboard resources. Under the Translations tab, the Getting to Know the Dashboard flyer is now available in multiple languages. When the name of a school or school district is typed into the search box field and selected from the search results, a landing page will appear. The landing page has 3 primary sections: at a glance, student population, and indicator cards. The first section is an at a glance of the performance of each of the state and local measure indicators. The figure on this slide is an example of a school's at a glance landing page. The local indicators of basic conditions such as teacher qualifications, safe and clean buildings, and textbooks for all students, implementation of academic standards, school and climate survey, highlighting safety and connection to school, parent engagement, and an access to a broad course of study is listed as standard met. The second section of the school's landing page is an overview of the student population. Student population displays information on enrollment, the percentage of students who are identified as socioeconomically disadvantaged, English learners, and foster youth. Please note that the data on the enrollment is reflective of prior year's CalPADS fall census data. The third section of the school's landing page, Indicator Cards, provides additional data on each measure, such as results for the current year and whether improvement was made from the prior year. Toggling back and forth between all students and state allows you to compare student results for your LEA with statewide results. There is also an equity report displayed at the bottom of each card for each state measure. This shows the number of student groups placed in the performance level or color. The equity report is the default report. Selecting the View More Details link below the equity report will connect the viewer to a page that gives detailed information on how student groups performed on that indicator. The student group report displays status, change, and performance level or color for all student groups across the 6 state indicators. Its purpose is to focus on the performance of student groups. This report shows for each state indicator how many student groups received a colored rating and how many of those student groups are in orange or red, indicating low performance. The state indicators apply to all schools, student groups including race and ethnicity, socioeconomically disadvantaged, English learners, students with disabilities, foster youth, and homeless youth, and progress on the indicators is reported through the dashboard. Please note that color-coded performance on state indicators are displayed for schools with more than 30 students in the group. Additionally, when students share one demographic characteristic, it does not mean that the group is homogeneous. To fully analyze the data reports, a key step is to learn more about the students who comprise the Students with Disabilities group by disaggregating the data in your local student information system. Schools with a population of less than 30 students with disabilities will not have dashboard results for state indicators displayed on a color-coded performance speedometer. To view data on the Students with Disabilities group, schools can view the detailed student report. The figure above displays the student group Students with Disabilities. No performance color is identified. Students with Disabilities group achieved 111.5 points below standard. This demonstrates that the 2018 dashboard performance declined 29.3 points. The total population size of students with disabilities for this school is 14 students. To access the detailed student report, you will do the following. From the landing page, scroll down to the Academic Performance Indicator cards. Select the academic performance you would like to view. In this situation, we are using English Language Arts. Locate the bottom of the Academic Performance Indicator card and select View More Details. Once View More Details is selected, you can then explore student groups' performance levels. To view student groups without a performance color, select the tab entitled No Performance Color. A numerical value will be listed on the No Performance Color tab. The numerical value identifies the amount of student groups with no color-coded performance. As a reminder, this only relates to schools with less than 30 students in a student group. Selecting the detailed student report will also allow schools to view a comparison of a state indicator of performance for a school against the overall performance of students in California. Participation of students with disabilities in California's assessment system, or CASP, directly impacts the state indicators of college and career readiness and academic performance. All students participating in the Smarter Balanced summative assessment, including students with disabilities, have access to a variety of accessibility supports designed to ensure universal access to the assessment and increase the likelihood that students are able to demonstrate what they know and what they are able to do. A primary component of the Smarter Balanced system of assessment and other statewide assessments are the available accessibility resources. Accessibility resources allow students to access the test content and demonstrate what they know and are able to do. There are three types of accessibility supports provided through the CASP system: universal tools, designated supports, and accommodations. Universal tools are available to all students and do not require any specific settings to be applied to the testing interface. Designated supports are available to any student who could benefit from its use as determined by a team of educators familiar with the student. And accommodations are only available for students with an individualized education plan or Section 504 plan. While knowing which students are eligible for which support is key to appropriate use, there are many other issues to consider when talking about accessibility supports. Schools should be carefully and consistently evaluating all of their students for the potential use of accessibility supports. Once students are identified as benefiting from an accessibility support, provide the student with practice before the springtime summative assessment. Accessibility supports can be practiced on the Smarter Balance interim assessments or on the practice tests. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to provide students with an opportunity to practice. When considering accessibility resources, it is important to note the continuum of supports within the Students of Disability student group. All students with disabilities participate in the California Assessment of Student Performance and Progress, or CASP system. Some students with the most significant cognitive disabilities participate in the California Alternate Assessment in English Language Arts, Literacy, Mathematics, and Science. The dashboard includes the results of the California Alternate Assessment and participation rates. This is usually 1% or fewer of the students with disabilities at a school. Currently, results from the California Alternate Assessment in Language Arts or Mathematics is not included in the dashboard status and change reports, but detailed reports provide a percentage of students scoring at each level on the California Alternate Assessments are included in the dashboard. Schools should employ a standard process for identifying students for accessibility supports, assigning supports that meet their individual needs, and allowing them time to practice with those supports is critically important. With this in mind, school staff should be able to answer the two questions. Who in your school is responsible for implementing a systematic process for the effective and equitable use of accessibility resources? And who is responsible for training teachers and others on the available accessibility resources? Please note, accessibility resources are for all students, not just students with IEPs or Section 504 plans. As schools continue the focus on improving the outcomes of students with disabilities, it's important to let data drive continuous improvement. School staff will need to further analyze the following data sets of students with disabilities. What is the racial and ethnic breakdown? What is the socioeconomic breakdown? What are the English proficiency levels? And what kind of disabilities exist? Additionally, schools should consider a further analysis of the following. Does performance differ by identified disability? Does performance differ by grade? Does performance differ for elementary schools compared to that of middle or high? Are there performance differences for students with disabilities who are also English learners? Are there performance differences for students with disabilities who are also low income? The process that schools will undertake in examining the factors that contribute to continuously improving the outcomes of students with disabilities is indeed an imperative and must occur in all schools across California. According to the Fall 2018 dashboard, 65%, that's 244 out of the 374 LEAs that became eligible for differentiated assistance were identified based on performance of students with disabilities. Differentiated assistance represents level 2 of California's three-tiered system of support. This module reviewed how California's accountability system provides the reporting system intended to promote equity for all students and highlight disparities among student groups. Module 2 dives deeper into models and processes intended to help schools plan and implement instructional programs and improve academic performance and address identified gaps in the learning of all students. Thank you for viewing Improving Performance of Students with Disabilities Module 1. As mentioned in the beginning of this module, a downloadable copy of the handbook and any resources are attached to this module for reference. We hope you'll join us for our 3 other Improving Performance of Students with Disability modules.